Do you have a great admiration for people who don't even exist? Do you know histories of fake worlds better than you know your own? Do you geek out? If so, geek out with us. Here, now. It's the Geek for All show.
Hello, yes, it is indeed the Geek for All. I'm your host, Geekmeister, joined by my co-host, Winchester.
Hello, hello.
And we are joined by Lex Miller tonight. He is a local comedian and musician.
Hello.
And he's actually got an EP that he's going to be dropping later this month, and he's going to show us one song later on in the night. But we thought it'd be a fun opportunity to talk about music that's used in nerdom, when it comes to either, movies and television shows and video games, and just the influence that music has on things.
Yeah. I immediately thought of times where music in nerdom has sucked. Because
that's how we always start.
Because I'm such a positive person. Like, I just saw the latest Star Trek movie, and they did a Beastie Boys song in there.
Did they really? I haven't seen
For no fucking reason.
Aww.
And they called it classical music, which, it makes sense. I get it, but fuck you.
in the same way that Britney Spears' "Toxic" was in classic in Doctor Who.
Oh, jeez.
Same way.
Yeah, it was about that painful. Actually, it was worse because it was part of the plot.
Right, it was like a major turning point. Like, the Beastie Boys basically saved the Federation, and it hurt me to my soul. We went from Picard to this bullshit.
Yeah. Now, granted, out of context, the scene was actually quite badass. Like, I'm not gonna try to lie. It was a great scene. It just didn't belong in a Star Trek film whatsoever.
Honestly, when you got the guy who directed Fast and Furious, and you give him the Enterprise, of course it's going to look badass.
Right.
But it had the same amount of intellectual content as a Fast and Furious movie at that point.
And by that point, yes. Now, what I did appreciate, it was a part of a series, though, of them using, like, a piece of technology and then almost solving the problem, but it didn't quite get them there, so they'd have to, go to some other scientific property to solve the next problem. And that part of it they nailed really well. But then, yes, they get all the way up, and it's finally I know what we do. We play the Beastie Boys.
You basically had you had the Enterprise basically drifting on fire whilst playing the Beastie Boys. It was like a goddamn music video.
I mean, and weirdly enough, the logic tracked as far as them playing something very loud in order to disrupt the radio signals that were being done between these things. So that made sense. But the fact that it was instantly we're gonna do the Beastie Boy,
instead of something that's genuinely loud, do AC/DC or
you
know what? Honestly, they could have done Beethoven, and I think it still would have been more appropriate.
It was also a kind of tongue-in-cheek thing. I mean, without ruining the plot, they were basically sabotaging the enemy, so they played Beastie Boy Sabotage.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Which made it better in some ways and so much worse in others.
It seriously it just made me so mad. But
it kind of reminds me of the Cyanide and Happiness sketch where the wife threatens to leave him if he tells another pun, and then he just tells one more and stands there and cries because he couldn't help himself.
But bad music choices can make or break a movie or a show or an episode.
Actually, coming to think of Star Trek Enterprise, the show, the one that they did, the prequel that they did.
It had a really shitty opening song.
Yes, it had a terrible pseudo country Nickelback sounding
We talked about this.
It was bad.
I don't remember anything about Enterprise other than the fact that its opening song sucked.
That's the thing. A lot of people, and that's the thing. It was a decent show. A lot of people missed a decent show because, and I can't blame them at all, that opening was atrocious. It was really bad.
But that's the thing. A lot of iconic shows are iconic because of their theme songs. Right. Doctor Who, Firefly. Firefly would not be, it'd still be a phenomenal show.
But that theme song puts it on another level.
Whole other level.
It really does. It really does.
So even a theme song, not even something in the movie, and we've talked about, something that comes to my mind is as bad was Suicide Squad. The soundtrack is phenomenal. I love the soundtrack, and I listen to it all the time.
Inappropriately used.
Awful inappropriately used.
Again, we're gonna get into my anger here.
bad
movie
editing.
should not have been bad.
No, it shouldn't have. It was written and it should have knocked it out of the damn park. It should have,
It's
and
like,
it didn't.
You've got the heavy hitters. You got the
Yep.
Joker. You've got Harley Quinn. That's enough. Just beat for beat, redo Mad Love, and just put the Suicide Squad in there somehow.
Exactly.
And you've got a
Just
great movie.
shoehorn the Suicide Squad
in
into
there.
Mad Love.
Look, I mean, if it's DC. They don't have a problem shoehorning a bunch of storylines
Oh,
into
no,
a movie
not-
that make no fucking sense.
Oh yeah, no, they love shoehorning things.
I think there were 8 different comic book storylines in Batman vs Superman. I'm not going to get into it. This is a 2-hour long.
Yeah, but I mean,
But it can make or break. It can take a person watching that movie out of it
Right.
with even just bad editing and bad cutting of a song. And then you get movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, which is what Suicide Squad was trying to be. And it's perfect. The editing is perfect. The music choices are perfect. It gets you into that mode.
and you know why? Because they weren't with that one. I feel like they weren't trying that
They weren't.
hard. They were doing their due diligence to make it sound really good, and like they had agreed upon the fact that the music was going to be very important for the vibe, and so they had that mentality. This is important so that we set the right vibe.
Every song felt like it belonged in the movie. There was nothing else just like, well, this is a cool song, so let's toss it in the movie. Like,
Right.
And if you really think about it, what Guardians of the Galaxy did is far more impressive, just because they weren't. The Suicide Squad songs are like popular songs now. Like, you know,
Right.
there's not really a lot of emotion attached to those
There's
songs.
not.
But Guardians of the Galaxy took songs that have been around for a while now, songs that are firmly established, and they made it. They used the legacy of those songs in such a way, like the Michael Jackson song got the end. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, god damn it! I can't. recall it.
It was the Jackson 5 one,
Jackson
right?
Jackson 5, yeah, the Want You
Like,
Back, yeah.
The
Yes,
ones you
yes.
got, like, it so sealed the deal of family.
Yeah.
Like, you know, little bit
and
of good,
he's
little
sitting
bit
there
bad.
tearing up when he's
Like-
listening to it, and you're right there with him, like,
it's
yeah.
like, are you fucking kidding? And then
Exactly.
The 5 seconds of Groot dancing.
Exactly.
Jackson 5 far outweigh everything Suicide Squad did.
And that's exactly it. It can make or break. Something like, so with Guardians, you had something like every single track was very genuinely could have been on that cassette. That made
Right.
sense.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
everything
it
made
made
sense
sense.
being there.
Suicide Squad, it was such a genre shift. You had Queen, which wasn't Queen. It was actually Panic at the Disco. Which as far as I'm concerned, I like the song. It's fine. But they had stuff like Queen and this old school 60s, like anything. Some of the songs were stuff you would expect in like the Vietnam movies, and then you had gangster rap, and it was such a genre shift because
song is so garbage.
none of it connected. It didn't make any sense. The one good moment was a joke throwaway moment because they threw in Eminem Slim Shady. And it was a joke. And it was like the best part. And it was.
Like, let's take a shot at Harley Quinn. You don't own me.
Exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
we get it.
Yeah.
We don't need a man. Okay,
No, that's
cool.
the thing. They tried too hard.
They did.
And that's where I feel like the big difference was like when they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy, they got a couple of things that they're keeping in mind. Make sure it's something that would actually be on that mixtape,
Yeah.
and make sure it's fitting the vibe of the scene. Like
Right.
regardless of what the lyrical content is, make sure the music's fitting the vibe. That's
Exactly.
what's more important. And with Suicide Squad, they want, let's make sure that the vibe and the lyrics and every possible detail can match to an annoyingly on the head.
Without
Have
them,
been bad.
but it was like 5 different people picked songs without talking to each
Yes.
other. And there was no overall vibe. It was just for that moment, that was the vibe.
The entire movie felt like it was cut like a trailer. Like
That's
that's
exactly
my
what it
problem.
was.
Like,
That was
okay,
exactly what it
like
was.
in a trailer you can do that kind of shit, and that's why when Suicide Squad's
The first
trailer came out,
yes.
everybody was like, "This is
Yes.
gonna be fucking amazing." The
And
whole
then
movie was
it's-
cut that way. It's just like
It's awful.
ugh.
As we've been talking about for a while now, DC, get your shit together when it comes to editing. Seriously,
I am a Marvel guy, and I'm begging you to give Marvel some fucking competition.
Exactly.
They're fucking kicking your ass right now.
and it gives them no incentive to do anything good, which
Right.
means they're gonna get lackadaisical. Come on, let's Capitalism, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Because Marvel, especially in the music, has never. Guardians was not the first thing. In my mind, the first thing I remember music being significant is Tony Stark.
You're
And
right.
his
Very
old
true.
school.
Very
right.
true.
Jesus.
Very true.
Not only in the Iron Man, but in Avengers. When he shows up in Avengers and shows up in Berlin, and he just comes in on that
Blaring
AC/DC and hijacking the Quinjet stereo, and it's like, oh hey Black Widow, what's up? And like, you can tell she's just like, well, okay, fine, here you go, and like, just you get that attitude from him.
Right.
And so Marvel has always had it down. Always had it down.
And I mean, you know, actually, when it comes to like the Marvel Netflix shows,
Oh,
specifically
yeah.
Luke Cage,
Oh my
Yeah.
the
god.
music in Luke Cage,
It's just like Guardians of the Galaxy again.
Yeah.
It just fits. It fits. But I mean, okay, to give DC a little bit of credit here, and I will give them this. One of the best movie soundtracks of all time has to be The Dark Knight. Like, motherfucking Hans Zimmer. Just,
Okay, to be fair, that whole series is way out of DC's
yeah,
league.
that's a whole.
Like,
try.
like-
Like, I feel like
I feel like that was a fluke.
one-legged puppy at
Yes,
this point.
it's true. It's true. But you're right. The orchestra, because it's not even just necessarily it's not necessarily just soundtracks and like pulled songs from other artists. It's orchestral stuff. Hans Zimmerman, you get Lord of the Rings is nothing without its orchestral soundtrack.
And you know
Oh,
what?
yes.
And to give DC more credit, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Not a great movie. That soundtrack, though, if you watch the flight scene, the fucking music with
Mhm.
just Superman.
You're not wrong,
flying,
man. You're not wrong.
It's just, oh, it gets me right here
Yep.
every time I watch it.
So
And that's the only scene of the movie. Like, I watch that and then I turn it off.
right,
Because that movie fucking sucked.
but it can give you the same feelings. You've got think about any Harry Potter fan.
Oh,
And Hedwig's
Here we
theme.
go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Hedwig's theme. It was in all the Harry Potter movies.
And
They
kept
did it.
getting darker.
Kept getting darker. They changed it a little bit for each movie. It was even in Fantastic Beasts. It's in all the trailers. That theme in particular will get anyone.
Yeah.
Will get anyone. You just
That-
you know
It
it.
was the that theme in particular is perfect for Harry Potter.
It
It's,
is.
It's like dark and mysterious without being like bitterly dark. It's like
Yeah.
like come with me through this dark cave, because once we get onto the other side of it, some amazing,
Yeah.
beautiful and mysterious things await you. And like you felt like there was somebody walking through like the fog with like a glowing lantern, like beckoning you to like come follow them
It's
into
true.
the darkness. And it's so good.
And then you've got Lord of the Rings, obviously, but movies like Pirates of the Caribbean,
Oh, the Kraken theme?
the Kraken theme, the da 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 da
Well, I
da
mean,
da da, the fight
he's
scenes.
a pirate. He's
yeah.
a pirate theme is super iconic, and it's hilarious. It wasn't even
so
supposed to be
good.
like the main hook of like that soundtrack, but it's like
But
what
it is.
wound up becoming
Exactly. And trust me, from personal experience, if you ever sword fight to that song, you feel like a total badass.
Well, that's on my bucket list.
It's amazing. It's so awesome. It's so good.
With real blades, fuck it, we're going all in.
Exactly.
It's on the bucket list. I'm gonna die anyway.
So it's music like that where you instantly get, especially if it's orchestral,
Right.
you know it's iconic. When you hear that song, you know exactly where it's from. And you get to, you imagine whatever was there. You hear the Shire songs, you know where you at.
I mean, and this is why John Williams
Oh
was
my God.
such a beast
Yeah.
and has been such a beast and such a powerhouse. Is that now granted, I want to throw it out there that he, as far as like the actual main meat of like the orchestral pieces that he uses for his music, he reuses a lot of themes
yes.
so goddamn much.
Yes.
The middle of Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
It's all the
and
same.
Hook are like all exactly
Exactly
the
the
fucking same. However, like the as
Yeah.
people would say nowadays, the hook of the song
Sick.
though
Mm-hmm.
is what he really got like famous for. Ultimately, he kind of invented the hook. Really,
For the people
Like-
listening at home, there were air quotes just now. That was very important message. If we're gonna talk about a composer who kind of recycles himself a bit, we've got to talk about the number one criminal in that regards, and that's Danny Elfman. I love Danny Elfman
Danny
to
Elfman.
fucking death. But it's the whole Jesus Christ.
He found his shtick and he kept with it.
Yeah,
That's kind of what it was.
That's it. That's what it is.
Like, there's a Tim Burton movie. Well,
Yep,
fuck
fuck
it.
it.
Pay Elfman $10,000 and let's
Right, exactly.
grab some of his scrap.
The trio are back together. Let's do
exactly,
this.
exactly.
The trio. I didn't even have to say it.
Nope.
Burton, Depp. What? No, quartet. Helen Bottle Carter.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. She's not necessarily
Sometimes.
part of like the main trio. She kind of is like the fourth musketeer.
She is though. She's very
Yeah,
much.
she's
She's very much
D'Artagnan.
the Canadian. Because it's whenever the boys need a girl, so they're like, it's like the boys only treehouse. And then when they're like, oh well, we need a girl to play the queen or something. I guess Helena can play.
pretty
Like,
much.
come on, Helena, you're allowed up in the treehouse. But yes, that
I wish
he's a
he
big
would
one
have kept
too.
with Michelle Pfeiffer because my God.
But yeah, it's very much you don't necessarily realize it. You know, you mentioned Star Wars. That's from somebody who just Star Wars in itself. You know, the Imperial March is just this.
Imperial March. Duel of
even-
Fates. Oh.
But even non-Star Wars fans know this music.
Oh yeah. It's-
You know when the Imperial March starts, you know what that's supposed to mean.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing with John Williams is like, unlike Danny Elfman, who a few of his themes have gotten into like major pop culture. So many of Williams, like you got
Yeah.
Star Wars,
Indiana Jones.
Indiana
yes,
Jones.
you've got like Hook, maybe not quite as much, but like anybody who's seen the movie kind of like just knows that music
Right.
immediately. Jurassic Park,
Yes.
like.
Okay, I have to tell you, Jurassic World may have been kind of shitty, but that first scene when they pull that theme out and you just see the
Yes,
park,
yes.
I got chills.
Yeah, no, but as soon as it started self-referentialing itself as an excuse of shitty writing, I was
Yes.
just like, and I'm out. Like, I'm done with
That's,
this.
But
in
that's
all
how-
fairness, that's a hard line to walk because you
It
know
is.
if you're gonna
True.
redo a property
and you don't mention it, like,
well, I mean, not even just that. It's just like you go for the applause, and there
Yeah.
are some things that you know you're gonna get that moment, like hit it with the music.
right.
That was a good moment for it. That was a good moment. But like the fact is that I feel like they literally in a very direct way, and I guess maybe I should appreciate more that they were being honest about it, but they literally were trying to cover up plot holes with nostalgia.
Yeah, that's fair.
and like the fact that they were so like I don't know I should rewatch just because like I don't know, it is kind of ballsy of them to just do it openly with a character who just sarcastically comments about fucking everything.
Right.
I can't watch that movie anymore ever since the internet made me focus on the fact that she runs throughout that entire movie in heels.
Yes,
Like,
she does.
The internet
She
ruined that
does.
movie for me.
As it tends to do.
Yeah, internet's good at ruining films.
Like, there's a meme of the actress in her episode of Black Mirror, like at the end of it, and everyone's like, "That's what she was supposed to look like in Jurassic World, you mother!" Like it's crazy.
But if we get away from movies, because we always have the iconic stuff in movies, I think a lot of times music in TV shows, so you get the themes. We touched kind of about that, the theme songs. Game of Thrones theme song.
Oh my God.
Like, if you're gonna go orchestral, that's
Oh my
a
god,
huge
yes,
thing.
so good.
It's just so iconic now. Even though it's on HBO, it's not even, everybody knows it. You know it even if you haven't watched the show. You know it. But then you go to some exactly. You go to some shows that use music as, my first thought is Scrubs.
I was just gonna say.
My first thought was Supernatural, actually.
Yes. Yes.
Because I can't hear
Yes.
Carry On My Wayward Son without thinking, oh, we have
There's-
to see the
there's-
finale.
no,
Yes.
no.
Oh God.
Actually,
Yes.
big shout out to Supernatural
Phenomenal.
for actually just hijacking that song
Oh, yeah.
forever because
Yes.
there is no going back
As
from
their
that.
theme.
I just-
They don't have a theme song, so they had to steal
Every
something.
time I
Yep.
hear it, I just want to see the recap.
That's
What did I
exactly
miss?
it. But that's the thing is you see it and you see that recap of the season and you get I get chills every
get
time I
hyped.
see it.
Like,
I'm like,
yeah, you're like,
oh my
"Ah."
god, we're like something's gonna happen and it's
Right.
phenomenal. And then you get the songs because I'm a huge Supernatural fan, so you get songs like rewatching it, you get, certain songs, like they threw in a Fall Out Boy song, but it was like a teenager listening to it, so it set the scene. But then you get songs like Back in Black, when the Impala gets
finally is
brought
fixed
back.
after
It's
like a
finally
whole
fixed.
season of like basically like just being like in a junkyard.
Yes.
Slowly being fixed by a super depressed dean.
Yeah. So you get those moments, like, and every so often, so it in a show that has been going on for 12 seasons, let's be fair, going on 13 because they got renewed.
I'm gonna laugh every time until it doesn't happen.
It's a cash cow. CW's not gonna get rid of it.
And I mean, and at this point, again with the brutal honesty about things, it's just like, okay, we know that this is a joke. Fans, let us know when you're done with the joke, and then we'll wrap this up.
And then we'll wrap it up. That's exactly it.
I gotta give credit to Fangirls. They took the shit out of that
Yeah.
show. When it was I got on board early on when it was Monsters of the Week, and I left and I came back and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I went to the C2E2 and got the Colt just because I remembered it from like the first few seasons, and I'm like, this is badass, doesn't have a trigger, kills anything, because that was a major plot point. And I was walking around C2E2 with it. I was walking around C2E2 with it, and the people that recognized it were not the ones I was expecting. I'm like, okay.
True. But anybody that's a fan is going to admit it goes through its slumps.
Oh, yeah.
Even from season to season, a couple of seasons, it goes through its slumps. But you get a good episode when you get a good music moment.
Yeah.
When they bring back the good music moments and you go, that's supernatural.
I think actually probably my favorite use of music in that show is right after they have the bank debauchery.
Yes.
They manage to escape.
Yes.
And it's the intro to Wanted Man by Styx. And
it's phenomenal.
It's just them running in slow motion. Oh, mama, I can hear you. Like, it's just, and fucking just, and they've got like the, and just fucking Dean turns to Sam like, we are so screwed. And it's just, it was so perfect.
Or even like the post credit, as soon as they'll do every so often where the scene will end and the credits will run, and they'll do a couple bars of that song still. So it's like what is it? There's a couple where they'll do it where it's perfect.
Yeah.
And
the end of season 1,
yes,
Bad Moon Rising.
Bad Moon Rising, that's what I was thinking of. Bad Moon Rising.
Brilliant, by the way, because the way that they wrote that first season, they weren't sure if they were going to get renewed, so they went, okay, we're going to write a 5-season arc, and we're going to be able to end it at season 1 if this doesn't get renewed, and they're just dead. Yeah. And it's just like, that is a great way to write a show at the beginning when you don't know, because they could have plausibly been dead. And in certain ways, I almost like the show better that way, because that first season's amazing. It ends as like a near perfect tragedy if that's the way it goes down, that they just die at the end of season 1. Like, there's a couple of holes that if they were really going to commit to that, there's a couple of holes that they would have actually filled in that weren't filled in at that point a little bit better. But for the most part, you still have a very satisfying, like, horrible ending where it's just like, oh god, everything that they went through meant nothing and the demons are still going to win.
Yeah, it's a very, in the show in of itself, again, going back to having that, this song would have been in the tape deck, kind of feel that it's almost always appropriate for the moment. They're very conscious of that. There are certain, I think it's Led Zeppelin, at least in the beginning, that they couldn't get because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford the rights to. So, shows like that where they
and
do
annoyingly
that
when
very
it's
well.
on Netflix, because Netflix will do this with some shows, they change the songs because they don't have the rights to certain pieces of music. They do that in Scrubs too.
They do it in
that
Scrubs.
one. Oh, that one kills me because I know when it's the wrong song.
Yeah.
And actually though they did that once where I was okay with it because I discovered Here Come the Mummies because of that.
Oh, yeah.
Because they replaced it, and that one actually worked almost as well as the original one, and I got to discover a new band out of it. But
which is always good.
It's always a good thing, but
with Scrubs, so Scrubs has a lot of musical moments because you get into JD's head and he has musical moments, or it's that sad the sad. I don't even know the tone.
Oh
the
god.
tune.
That show made me discover. I can't remember the Colin Hayes. There.
Yeah.
Yes.
Overkill.
Mm-hmm.
That episode. That they started the episode with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was all through. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, no, that I had seen a few episodes before that, but that was one of the first episodes where I watched where I knew that it was going to be a show that I was going to watch and rewatch for a long time to come. And I've probably seen every episode of that show at least 14 times.
Yeah, that's when I'll rewatch.
I really need to rewatch it. I've watched it during the original run and haven't gone back, so I need to get that another.
Absolutely.
That's one that's actually, again, because of like the whole music problem that you have sometimes, that one is one that's actually almost worth getting on DVD if you can, because it's like, well, at least up through like season like 5 or 6. After that, feel free to just Netflix it, because like it gets weird.
Don't watch the last one.
I keep hearing
the
that.
college years. You can stop.
Oh, see, I always forget about that one. I literally was about to say, what are you talking about? The 8th season's fine. No, the 9th season. That didn't happen.
That didn't. Yeah,
ever.
we ignore that one. It's okay.
Now I want to watch
It's okay, but
it's really not.
But if you really like, and I want to talk about it because it's a song that the last episode of the original series
of 8.
Of 8. Book of Love by Peter Gabriel.
Yes.
And they do it's one of those endings where, okay, so there's some great, in my history of watching TV, which is very long, trust me, as a kid who was babysat by TV, there are certain finales that just get me. Boy Meets World will always be a finale that gets me. Scrubs will always be a finale that gets me because they use Book of Love as a retrospective for JD, and well, it's not even just a retrospective. They show his future.
Or what
might be his future. He gets to watch it as a slideshow. So he watches marrying Elliot and having a kid, and his kid getting together with Turk's kid. And him and Cox and their family and all their families being together, and this whole just future.
And the best part is the very end of it, like after the song ends, it was on like a sheet that had been hung up that's kind of part of like the last episode plot, and it gets ripped down by this janitor that you've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And like JD kind of walks off, and the janitor goes good night, and JD says good night. And if you look into it, the janitor is played by the creator of the show.
Yeah.
So the creator of the show says goodnight to JD. JD says goodnight, gets into his car, and drives off to an instrumental version of I'm No Superman, like the theme song of the show.
Right.
And then the fuckers made another season because they couldn't just let perfection be. Because it was
so
perfect.
good.
Gotta get that money.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But it was, and again, another theme that I think they did this one was a little different. So they did the original shortened I'm No Superman. For like second or third season, they did a longer version that nobody liked.
Nobody liked, yes.
Because it was too long.
I think it was for second. Yeah, they did like a different portion of the song, and they slowed it down like just like a little bit, and they expanded it out so more people could actually, like, more of the characters could be shown in the credits. Like they actually could get like Neil Flynn in there and stuff.
I think it lasts like 2 or 3 episodes.
It's a couple,
it's not a full season.
Yeah, it's a couple of episodes because the fans like revolted.
They did not like it. They did not like it. But it's another theme song that that's the Scrubs theme song.
I'm no Superman.
You know, like for a while I was thinking like we had hit a point in TV where people don't give a crap about theme songs anymore, but that's couldn't be any further from the truth. Now that I'm really like taking in all the theme songs that we got going around, like the Walking Dead theme song. That's iconic.
It's really well done.
Everybody knows what's up. Everybody knows what's up. South Park has an iconic theme song.
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And I think it depends on where you're watching it.
Right.
If it's Netflix, we talked about Sense8. Sense8 is a 2-minute theme song. Does not need to be 2 minutes. I'm binge watching on Netflix. I don't need a 2-minute theme song.
But Daredevil's theme song.
I will sit through. Because it's so good.
Also Jessica Jones, also Luke
Yes.
Cage's. Like those theme songs have been right on point.
Yes.
And again, like actually we mentioned it for like half a second. Let's go back to Luke Cage because good God, the music in that show is just like and what I love about it is that like it's not like they're bringing on like super obscure artists, but people who are definitely not household names are getting some major like screen time, like even if it's just for like 30 seconds, and it's great to see that, because there is some phenomenal soul music that gets played there and some blues music that gets played,
and again, Marvel hit it out of the park with making the music part of the story. Like the episode where Method Man gets saved by Luke Cage, goes to Breakfast Club the next day and spits out Bulletproof Love. Like that felt natural. Like that fit perfectly the idea of what New York would be like in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Because why would musicians not be taught, hey, this crazy shit happened, like I'm gonna like make a song about it because everyone remembers this incident.
It was so seamless, so perfect. Again, fucking DC.
Also,
on it.
Also the scene where he actually where he saves Method Man from the robbery, like just the interaction between him and Luke Cage is just fucking.
Can I get your hoodie, man? Like, I love that.
So good.
And again, it makes sense. Luke Cage just wants a hoodie that's not filled with holes. Method Man wants to get the fucking hoodie from a fucking black superhero. Let's do it. Like, it's so perfect.
And you're and the fact that they were able to work it all in because the nightclub is so heavily involved.
Yeah, right.
And the fact that they chose the nightclub and the barbershop as the 2 points that everything revolved around was perfect. Like when you're talking about like Harlem culture, like that's where it all goes around. Like those kind of places are where everything fucking happens.
I love Luke Cage, but it did take a left turn with me with the ending with Diamondback. Just
it's a little weird. I think they're gonna flesh that out in season 2 a little bit better, or in Defenders, whatever.
They fucking better. Because I was like, oh shit, this the shit. Look, come on, like. I'll allow it.
But you talk about the nightclubs.
Right.
There's 2 shows in my head that take that same thing, Charmed and Buffy.
Yeah, I was just about to say Buffy.
You get the bronze and you get P3.
And yeah, Buffy did the same thing ultimately that Luke Cage did with
for at least the first couple seasons.
Yeah, somewhat
school.
less known artists who are still out there doing stuff,
Yep.
getting some screen time for like 30 or 40 seconds,
Yep.
and like actually like people being like, oh, who's like that person? I'm gonna look that up.
And I Jesus Christ, Angel had one of my favorite theme songs of all time. Just I know it's bad, Cody, but like, oh, it's so good. The violin is just a rock.
Oh yeah, no, it's a beautiful use of strings in conjunction with like a rock like backbeat.
Yeah.
Like
and just the Buffy musical.
Yes.
Still know word for word right now. Like if you fuck around, I will bust out Sweet's verse.
And it's funny because a ton of shows are now copying that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was so successful.
Yeah. No, it was one of the
that.
first ones I think to do a musical episode.
It was.
Like that.
I think so. At least in like the sci-fi fandom.
Yeah. I think a couple other mainstream ones have done that.
There's another show that's about to do a musical episode.
The Flash.
The Flash
is gonna bring Music Meister back
with Supergirl. I think that's gonna be
it's gonna be a crossover.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be both on Glee. So and speaking of
Chris.
TV shows with music, Glee, we gotta throw
Glee's
that in there.
one.
We do have to throw that in there. It's never been my thing. It's not.
It was my thing until it started to get way too preachy. Like that's one of my pet peeves. It's just like I turned on the TV to chill, just and then people started going to New York, and it just turned to shit. Sorry, I just brought the mood down because that's how I feel. Like I was hyped on Glee as a theater kid. Like
as a theater kid, that's huge.
And then it just turned to shit.
See, but for me, that okay. So for me, we had this speech team, right? So there was theater, and then there were like the music departments.
Yeah, theater
and then there
chorus.
was like speech, and then there was kind of like this overlap and stuff. But then there were those of us who were really actually theater kids, and we hated it when all those other kids thought that they were theater kids and came and just stomped in
theater
on our
elitist
shit.
Okay, that kind of happened in my school too. It was called the Spring Musical because all the
Yes.
chorus people that were never in other shows
see,
would come in.
And that's the thing, I was in
So,
choir
yes.
too. Like, so that's the thing. I actually technically was in like both, but I had been doing theater since I was like in fucking 6th grade. So like, I was way more in that camp, and it was more just like the thing of like, it was like, I don't know, like it was like this musical show would come on, but it was about like a glee club, which means it was basically more about a choir than it was a theater. And I just kept hearing, it's like, oh, it's like, but you must love it because it's a show about theater kids.
It's really not though.
not.
I'm
not.
It's
going
not,
to
it's about a
murder
choir.
you
Yeah.
if you say that one more
Because
fucking
I'm sorry,
time.
I would kill for a show like Glee, but is about tech crew.
Yeah.
I would. The amount of drama, weekly drama that goes on in backstage would be perfect.
The
for a high
headset
school
conversations that take place in real life. Oh,
Yes.
Some of the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life has come over a headset.
Yes.
Like,
Show. So not to sidetrack, but that needs to be a sitcom.
yeah,
please,
no,
the love
for
of God.
sure.
Fuck it, let's write it.
Yes, absolutely.
We just call it tech.
Yes, exactly. But it's right though.
Right.
Like Glee, and then you get the Glee alumni because Darren Criss is gonna be Music Meister in The Flash.
Right.
And if you're gonna do a musical episode, you might as well bring in the Music Meister because we got to see it animated with Neil Patrick Harris, and it was phenomenal. It's such a good episode.
Oh, I'm about to interrupt you so hard because you said the magic 3 words.
Neil
Neil
Patrick Harris.
Patrick. You motherfuckers need to watch a series of
serious?
unfortunate
I've been
events.
watching.
I haven't
I've been
watched
watching.
it yet. I
But-
haven't.
We want to talk about fucking theme songs that are cool as shit.
Yes.
It
Look
changes
away,
with the story.
Look away.
Oh my god.
No, actually, that show has been amazing.
He's
from
been-
top to finish.
like, I love Jim Carrey, but Neil Patrick Harris made me want to slap Jim Carrey for ever taking the role of Count Olaf. Like, he's killing it.
It's been phenomenal. The fact that Lemony Snicket is really, really well represented in a way that he wasn't even in the books and stuff. And
Yeah, he has his own little story arc. That's the
kinda going-
cliffhanger.
yeah.
Actually, for the season. So I'm like, I didn't realize I was out of episodes.
and really the reason that this show has been as good as it is that the original writer of the books is the one writing this series.
Who would have thought that works?
Yeah.
Right? Shocking.
Like,
Holy
oh,
shit.
wait, when you let the creative person who came up with that universe write more in that universe, it's going to actually work the way it's supposed to.
What?
Although,
That's crazy talk.
in fairness, I think everyone had a mild freak out when we found out that that wasn't the case with George Lucas.
Okay, okay.
You
can't-
uppercutted our point.
You
Like,
can't-
we had a point. We were all on page.
George-
You single-handedly
okay.
was great. I'm sorry.
No, George needed to be taken out back and shot. Okay? He is not allowed to touch anything anymore.
Fuck you, man.
Like,
I can't defend this at all.
no, that's it. I can't.
Look.
He got his
For
rhyming
for
with
every
everything.
good rule, there needs to be
Yeah,
some kind of exception, all right? And George Lucas is the exception.
No, he needed his ex-wife to be on the prequels, and then we wouldn't have had that nonsense. She would have put that shit in the ground. Yes, bullshit.
I was gonna go on a tirade about comic books finally letting comic book characters wear their shit.
Yeah.
You just fucking
You
destroyed
fucked it up.
everything I was about
Fucked
to
it
say.
up.
You fucking prick.
God damn it.
I'm sorry.
We don't say that name in this house, Al. Man. Despite
He
it
must
being
not be
named. Exactly. We don't talk about it. Those movies don't exist. It's fine. Rogue One. You start at Rogue One and you keep going. You don't talk about the stuff that happened before that, okay? God damn it.
No, okay, no.
But you have a very good point. You have a very good point.
No, but honestly, I think my point is an exception, and normally,
Yes.
I think it is that if you allow the person who first came up with things to be in creative control, you're gonna wind up.
It's going to be a much more genuine product.
The movies that J.K. Rowling has been involved
Yes.
with for Harry Potter, the more she's been involved, the better those movies have been.
Yes.
The
Yes.
middle section of those movies, when they really just didn't let her do shit with them, those are the ones that really suffered the most. It's the last couple and the first couple of those movies that really are strong. Because at first she was very heavily involved, then more Hollywood producers got involved, and we were like, yeah, you just kind of stand over there in the corner, sweetie. And then eventually they figured out, like, oh, wait, she's the one who, right, hey, do you want to come back here and actually give us some advice on this shit?
Well,
like,
and take her, for example. Okay, so so she wrote the screenplay for Fantastic Beasts.
yep.
If you read Cursed Child, she didn't write that, and it's awful.
I've only read some of the cliff notes about Cursed Child, and like,
It's
you
not
ever
good.
see that gif of like PC Principal from South Park holding a piece of paper,
Yes.
mad triggered, like
Yes.
shaking his head, like that's how I
That's
read
it.
these
That's
cliff
what it
notes.
was.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
And I would still love to see the stage play, because there's certain moments in the in the play that look amazing. I want to see it actually done, practical effects, things like that. But you can tell the difference between what she had input in on that book
Right.
and her input on Fantastic Beasts. And
I know I can't handle seeing that play.
yeah,
I respect the theater and I want to abide by their rules, but I'm a fanboy.
so yeah,
And you would
it's
stand
totally
up
fair.
and shout in the
Fucking booze!
It's true. It's true. But to continue, so I don't even know.
I'm
How to
sorry.
continue.
Okay.
I don't want to off track, but I do want to talk about musicals as
Right.
movies as of themselves.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because we have musicals, we have Les Mis, we have Rent. I'm assuming there will be a Hamilton movie at some
I'm
point.
certain there will. Okay.
Wicked is in
Moulin Rouge.
production. Moulin
I'm a
Rouge.
sucker for that movie.
You get these great
Moulin Rouge.
Broadway shows.
Oh, Moulin Rouge is amazing.
Like, they got me as soon as they did
Yeah.
Smells Like Teen Spirit. I was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
shit, I'm in.
So you get these movies that were huge Broadway shows, and we'll see more. I think, like I said, they're doing Wicked. They're, once Hamilton kind of dies down a little bit, they'll do the movie for it, I'm sure. You get these, these amazing Broadway shows, and you have to put them on the smaller screen. Because think about it. Yes, a theater, a movie theater is big screen, but compared to seeing it on stage is a whole different experience.
Like, I had the experience of seeing Chicago
Mhm.
on stage, and then I remember seeing the movie. I love the movie a lot,
Oh, yeah.
but there's just so many little things that you can't get from the stage in
Yep.
the movie. So I completely get what you mean. I find it funny that there are some Broadway movies that just don't translate well to film at all.
Yeah.
What's that? The Rock of Ages or
Rock of
the one with
Ages.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it depends. Does you need a big visual experience to go along with what you're doing to make it work?
Right.
Like, a lot of people actually argue that, like, as popular as the movie was, there's a lot of people that argue that Rent didn't work as a movie. Like, when you
I can
compare
see
it to
that.
the
I
actual
I can see
show.
it compared to the
Yeah.
actual show. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like the movie personally, but I can understand anybody who has gripes against it.
Well, it's also an older. It's not that much older, but it's a show that has history,
Right.
and it's a very personal history for people. So I can definitely see that you go in with expectations of this huge thing, and then just being kind of let down.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, like when you see the sets that they've done in the past for Rent on stage, and you look at like what they did with like the film and stuff, it's so scaled down. You
Right.
know what I mean?
But it
like
has to
because it has to be, right? Because
Right.
you're actually trying to like get close-ups of like people and stuff. Because
Right.
that's the way you shoot a film. You could just do it as like a big stage thing and just do wide shots the whole time, but it's you're kind of not working in your medium at that point.
Right.
You're sort of just recording another one.
And to be fair, watching Broadway shows that way, where it's just the wide shot of the stage, is awful. I hate.
Oh
doing
yeah,
that.
no,
I
it's
hate
it's
it.
terrible.
You lose all.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
just-
Because you want, I always see that, and you want desperately to have the camera zooming in on the people talking or the significant things. Like, you don't want to just see that wide shot. You want to be able to focus. And my brain always wants to make it into a movie.
I can't wait for them to do theater plays with Oculus, because
Yeah.
you know it's coming.
Oh,
and that's
yeah,
gonna be
it's gonna
fucking
happen.
sick.
That's gonna be crazy.
That's
gonna be
gonna
great.
be fucking
Well, because
sick.
we're working toward you remember back in Star Trek the hollow plays, the basically
Yeah.
the stories that they would write for the holodeck. that's coming. We might be seeing the beginnings of that in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, they're really working toward both the end on virtual realities and holograms in general, and with the coupling of that, like, it's, you
Definitely.
know, we're gonna see like it at least start to get developed as a medium, which is gonna be very interesting to watch. You know, real quick, we're just talking about like musicals and play. You know, Mel Brooks.
Yes.
We're talking about music as far as like enhancing like the story and stuff. Man, Mel Brooks knows how to really and really actually how to bring the feel of Broadway to the silver screen.
Yes.
Like, he knows
Definitely.
exactly how to, like, you feel like it's not at all watching a Broadway play, but you feel like you're watching a Broadway play, but you're not watching a Broadway play, but you definitely feel like you're watching a Broadway play.
Well, because it's always a moment that you would expect a Broadway play to break into song.
Right.
Yes.
It's always that kind of moment, whether it's really funny, whether it, you know, and it's always generally, well, it's Mel Brooks, so it's going to be generally comedic. But it's always that right moment that's not awkward. It's not like shoved in there.
Well, and his use of this is all true, but also his use of camera angles is in coupling with that. He knows when to go for the wide shot because he needs that big Broadway feel, but then it immediately snaps back to a close up at exactly the right moment that it needs to for what's going on. And along with just having that sense, the lyrical content of the songs that he writes are just
Exactly.
oh my god, it's so good.
It is.
Like,
It is. I guess if you want to talk about songs and just in like musicals, but not pure, you know, like operatic musicals or whatever. Something that we haven't talked about is Disney movies.
yeah, you know, Disney, when we're talking about iconic music,
Oh,
Disney
Jesus
is
Christ.
hard to really, like, you can't leave that out. Like, that's...
You really can't. I mean, go to any karaoke joint.
You're right.
You're guaranteed to hear at least one terrible rendition of I Can Show You the World.
Exactly. Well, and as our
Oh,
generation,
the world, there it is.
Yeah.
yes, our generation of, I hate the word, but millennials. We had the quote unquote golden age, I feel, of Disney,
Yeah.
of the
Beauty and the
Aladdin,
Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. Yes, there were music
Mulan.
Mulan. There were music moments of Cinderella, of Snow White, and they were very iconic.
Right.
But then you get these moments like the big thing I always remember is Mulan, where it's the very last musical moment where they're singing what is it? It's A Woman Worth Fighting For.
Yeah.
And they're all jovial and they're all just it's joking and laughing, and then they come over that hill and it just stops.
Right.
And you see what is really before them and the misery and death.
Yes.
And it's just, yeah, no, that's a beautiful use of absence of sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and before we go back to Disney, because we mentioned Buffy really quick.
Oh, yeah.
But we're talking about absence of sound really
Oh
quick.
my gosh.
There's-
Oh, yeah. We already know where this is
Yeah,
going.
we got to talk about it real quick, though, because... So there's one episode of Buffy, and this is an episode that I've seen twice, and I'll probably never watch it again.
You can't
because
watch it more than a couple
'cause
times.
there's-
It's too draining.
It's beautiful, but it's too much. And
Didn't that win? What the fuck?
no, Hush did. Hush was the one
okay.
that won an Emmy. for
Another
this
one where
episode.
silence
Really,
is-
really great. Where silence is really well used. And actually the music in that episode is also like the overtones and everything. But
This is the absence.
this
of
is
music.
the episode
Right.
called "The Body,"
Yes.
and it is when it was technically the episode beforehand. At the very end of it, Buffy comes home to find
Her mom.
Joyce
Yeah.
unresponsive on the couch, and so this one picks up with her running over to the body, shaking it, and even having like a whole flash where she manages to call 911 in time and everything's fine, and then it's like you flash back and like she's still just looking at her mom and hasn't even like called 911 yet, and there's no background music in the
not.
entire episode, and it goes all the way through like the through the autopsy and stuff. So like there's a couple of days that take place basically in the episode, and you don't know how awkward things are in television until there's no underscore.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, this is what real life feels like. And I forgot how awkward real life actually is. Like the scene where Xander goes to pick up a bunch of them, and like it's like you're double. Anya says you're double parked. Let him ticket me. Just with no music underneath and everything, and just like hearing the car pull up and stop and everything in like dead silence, and then those lines. It's and Mulan kind of took all of that in that one moment because it was so huge and big and just out of nowhere.
Shift.
Fucking nothing, and you just see this sea of death, and that probably fucked a couple of kids up.
That movie is so completely underrated. Like I can tell the quality of people around me by just going, "Let's get down to business," and then if nobody goes,
yes,
all right. But then I know I'm around a bunch of good people. If they holler back, if they don't, then everybody there sucks.
Instantaneously.
That's how I check.
I mean, that's fair.
It is. Another good one that I still listen to. Okay, so there's a couple that I still listen to the soundtracks, but Hercules, the way they use the gospel music in that is
is actually
so
and
good.
it makes no sense at all.
No, but it's so
but it works
good.
really well.
It really does.
Oh, actually, and you know, it's not quite gospel. It's more like that sort of mix between big band and gospel or whatever.
It's like Dreamgirls mixed with gospel.
But The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember the music from that.
It's very big band.
Yeah, no,
it's very big band.
Very big band. But it's kind of got like the gospel singers in like the background and everything. And oh my god, that's another movie that uses its music very, very well.
Princess and the Frog is like it's one of the more overlooked ones, but
it's so good.
That has some really good.
I need to
music.
rewatch it because I only watched it once and I don't remember all of it entirely. So like I gotta rewatch that one.
But got Keith David alone is worth it. Worth the price of admission. That dude's got a voice.
The villain songs, like you've got a good movie when you get a good villain song, like the iconic like Scar in Lion King. Just these iconic villains. The villain songs in Princess and the Frog are so good. So good.
It has my number 2 favorite. My number 1 favorite villain song will always be Jafar's version of Prince Ali.
Oh, yes. It's
so good.
So much swag in it.
Yes.
And
it's
just so much
perfect.
stank on everything.
It is.
Like just like the amount of shade just being thrown at everyone.
He's basically just roasted Aladdin in front of Jasmine.
Yep.
He slapped him. He hugged the dude upside down, just bitch slapped him. Look at this punk.
Yeah. It's
send him to Antarctica. Fuck it.
Exactly. It's so good. You get and Disney, I think, is one, like we always talk about, DC's got to step it up, Marvel's got to step it up. DC, in my head, will always have some of the best music. Just always. It's, the animated, I haven't seen Moana yet, but I've heard that the soundtrack, which was written by the guy who wrote Hamilton, is phenomenal.
Performed by The Rock, so I've got to see that.
Exactly. Every so often, Disney will have a miss.
At singing. He can't be good at everything. Come on, motherfucker.
I don't know. He might be.
No,
might
just leave.
I heard a little bit of a
Leave
clip
some
and it was
talent
pretty
for the
good.
rest of us. I
It was
really
pretty
believe
good.
talent is a finite pool, and he's double dipping, and I don't like it.
But Disney gets those people. They get The Rock to sing. They get Robin Williams to sing. Danny DeVito to sing. They get these people that you're like, I don't know if you'd actually be singing. And then they sing. Zachary Levi sings in Tangled.
Yeah. By the way, one of my favorites.
So good. And we can talk about Frozen. Let it go.
I'm just mad that everyone considered that to be such a powerful female role, and it's like,
but
she's the villain.
Yeah.
What?
There's so many different, and that could be a whole thing in of itself, is that there's so many other females, strong females.
There's so many better examples of it than
there
that.
are.
Like, it was just like, wait. So the villain who is sympathetic at the end because of the one song that they did such an awesome song, we're gonna overlook anyway. Yeah, you're right. It could be a whole other subject.
It could be a whole other subject.
I'm just gonna say one thing about Frozen. Like, I liked Frozen, and then I hated that everybody liked Frozen.
Yeah.
So I hated Frozen. Now I hate that I hate Frozen because everybody hates Frozen. It's just a circle of just leave me alone, people.
It's true, though. It's true.
All right. Well, we're running up on time here, so real quick, we're gonna turn the music down. Lex, you've got some stuff that's gonna be coming out at the end of the month. So we're gonna take a listen to a track, and we're just gonna talk about that really quick here at the end of the episode. So hang on, turn the music down, and we're gonna take a listen through this.
Cool.
Of memories consume me. Oh, my heart races with desire. But this is just a moment for us to share. A moment I'm blessed we weren't spared. Walking down from the archway, wearing that smile I'll get to see every day. If only I had the words to say, but you whisper it's okay. I know it okay, and I find the words to say. Yes, I'll say. Let go. I've gathered the nerve to let the world know. When I drum the noise out, all that's left is my heart sinking out. This oath that I swear to you. Please see the meanings in my words. I do. I promise we will see things through to the end. Until the end.
That was really good.
That
wow,
was great.
damn.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah, no, so yeah, this is pretty on par for like your normal style of music. I've heard you for a while. You know, you do this. Now it sounds like you're using actually electric guitars there, which is interesting because normally I'm used to you on the acoustic.
It's mainly acoustic. There's some electric backing on there, kind
Okay.
of like a little bit of a course going along with it. To
Gotcha,
make it a bit
gotcha.
fuller. That's how you do it when you're on a broke budget. Pedals cost money, guys. Buy the CP. No.
No, that's fair.
We've just been trying some different stuff. My stuff is usually just a guy in an acoustic and kind of sad boy music, so we tried to make it fuller.
Well, I mean, it definitely, especially with you did fill it out very nicely. I like the harmonies that you're doing there. They really sound great, and it This might sound like an insult to you, but trust me, for me, this is actually like a very big compliment. This sounds like the kind of song that I'd hear like on Gilmore Girls.
I was thinking the same exact thing. I was thinking the same exact thing, that that song is very much like and I don't know if it's just because we've been talking about it or whatever, but it was very much a like. I could see scenes in my head of that being
of them
a
walking
background.
through Stars
Yes.
Hollow, like in the snow and stuff. And
I have yet to watch Gilmore Girls, but I will take that as a compliment because they wild the fuck out when it came back. So if I get anybody that loyal to my music, I am happy.
No, you really should be. It sounds really good. So when do you have a date that you're dropping, or is this gonna at the end of February?
It's gonna be at the end of February.
Okay, so not a specific date, but yeah. So you're on SoundCloud.
I'm on SoundCloud at Lex Miller Music, Facebook under Lex Miller Music, and YouTube as Abstract Lex because I want to make sure you guys really want it.
Just can't.
If you get a little lazy on me, you're gonna miss out on some stuff.
All right. Well, I mean, that's about all the time that we have for right now. Lex, thank you for joining us. Thank you
guys
for
for having
playing
me.
it. This has been a lot of fun. We definitely got to have you back and do this more often.
I love this every
Definitely.
time. Every time.
But anyway, you all have yourself an excellent evening. Make sure that you're checking out Lex Miller.
Yes.
Really, really looking forward to this EP, and we'll probably showcase another song when the actual EP comes out.
Woohoo!
But anyway, in the meantime, everybody, you have yourselves an excellent evening and take care.
Bye.
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 The music for the Geek for All show has been provided by Fat Street Beats, Ben Sound, and Purple Planet. Please support their individual pages.